Here we are inside the Swift Conqueror 480. If we first go to the main control panel just here, we will turn the 12 volt on. Once we've done this, we can then turn other components on. So we have this button here, which turns the awning light on and off. This next one, which is for the dimmable top lighting. We then have this one, which then does the rest of the lights. They can all then be individually turned on and off on their own switches. And then the last one here, which turns the water pump on and off. We need the water pump on to be able to get water out the taps and fill the boiler up if it's been drained. Next, we have buttons along here, which, as I press, will give us numerous bits of information. What I'm firstly going to do is go to the one that says System Settings, and I'm going to arrow in, and we can then within this set the time, pair up to the Bluetooth, which is for the Swift Command app if you want to use that. Tank alarms just leave off because we don't have any onboard water tanks on this model. Same with your light mode. LED time, so how long these blue LEDs stay on for and how long the backlight stays on for. Key beeps. And then set your year, set your month, set your date, etc. And then just exit back out. After system settings, we have heater settings. So if you want to control it via the app, you need to go into it and change it to app. Dimmer level, which is for your dimmable lighting. You can brighten up, dim it down. Internal temperature. These all now come with AC limiters, so if you're on a lower amp site you can set it, as you can see, and then it will stop you from tripping out, and it will go right the way up to 16 amps. Select your battery. Obviously we're not a motorhome, we're a caravan, so we just leave it on the leisure. What the solar panel's up to. It's letting us know that the leisure battery is being charged via the main supply. As you can see, we've got the lightning strike just up there. And then back to the beginning again. If you want to be using the Swift Command tracker, you will need to register it through Swift. And what you need to do is press this here. You'll see software first, which you can ignore. Then you'll have comms. And then if you press it again, you'll get a unique M number. That is what Swift require if you decide that you want to pay the subscription and use the tracker. Next we have the controls for the Aldi heating and hot water, on and off on this one here. Once it's fired up, again it will let us know that we have main supply, and it will give us an internal temperature. If I now press menu, you'll see its basic functions. So we have plus and minus for the heating. Just literally pick whatever temperature you want. The next one is for hot water. So currently hot water is off. If I now press it, hot water on. And if I press it for a second time, hot water on boost mode. If you do the boost and the heating's running, it will turn the heating off. At the moment it looks like stuff is actually on, but it's not because we haven't picked a power source. So the next ones are power. So the first one is if you want to run the system on main supply. We can run it on 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatts or 3 kilowatts, just depending on the ampage of the site that you're on. And if we don't have mains, we can run on gas. If you want to get up to temperature really quickly, you can also run in dual fuel mode. After that we have the settings menu. In here we have a night timer and a day timer. It is just a matter of just literally turning it on or off just there, setting the temperature and the time. Prioritise is just literally what the system prioritises in using if you are in dual fuel mode. So at the moment it will favour main supply over gas. Brightness of your screen. Obviously if you're going to be using timers and stuff, you just set your time and day of the week here. This one is antimicrobial. You can only use this if you are using night mode, and then what will happen is at about 2-3 o'clock in the morning the boiler will rapidly heat up to kill off any bacteria that may be in it. Just your temperature sensor for the thermostat. I'm going to reset that back to 0. High altitude mode, so if you are using the caravan at 1,000 meters above sea level, activate this and then it basically will make the system run better at a different air pressure. Whether or not you want button beeps. Instead of having multiple timers, you can just have one start and stop to the system. Pump settings, leave it on thermal please. If we then arrow down, full factory reset if there's a major problem with it. External start, if you ever wanted to add a sim box to it so you can control this, but at the end of the day it will be linked up via the Swift command, so there's no real need. Language, service, to be fair, more for the workshop, but it will let you know what everything is up to. Installed accessories, there is nothing in here that you really require. If we now go into this overhead locker here, we have the solar panel regulator. Don't really need to come to this much because we can see what it's actually doing on the main control panel just up here. At the moment you'll see there's a solid green light and a flashing green light. Solid green light means battery's fully charged, etc., and that the solar panel's in kind of float mode. Next, if we go underneath this bench seat just here, you will see that we have the consumer unit just here. So we have trip switches just here and the 12 volt fuses just here. They're all labelled up and then correspond on the sticker just here. Along the top here we have isolator switches. So this one here is for the heating and hot water system on main supply. So if you turn this off, the Aldi control panel will just error. This one here will turn the battery charger on and off. Again, we want to be charging the leisure battery when we're hooked up to the mains. And this one will illuminate if you have reverse polarity connected to the van. If that does happen, does not matter. These particular Sergeant units will reverse it and make it safe. And then lastly, full system shutdown. So if you're not using the caravan for long periods of time, you can use this and it will kill any residual draw on the battery. Next we have the control board for the motor mover. We don't need to do anything with it. Just make sure that firstly the isolator switch is turned on in the battery box when using it, and also make sure that the leisure battery is healthy, because these are things that will stop it from working. Then we have the water pump and the surge dampener and the drain valve for the Aldi boiler. So to drain it down for winterization and travel, all you need to do is just flap it up like so and it will start chucking all the water out. Make sure the water pump is off because I've currently got it on and all it's now trying to do is frantically fill the caravan back up again. So to fill it, make sure you got water in your aqua roll and you've dropped your submersible in. Turn your water pump on and it will then refill it back up again. I do also suggest that when you are fully winterizing your van, that you also come and you open up all your taps as well, because that way if there is a harsh frost, hopefully the water as it freezes will be forced out the end of the tap instead of expanding in the pipework. This side we have storage, but we also have the box for the Sergeant alarm, and tucked right at the very back there is another bank of fuses which are labelled up again, and they are for stuff on the outside of the caravan like marker lights, etc. and the 12-volt feed from the fridge. Here we have the PIR sensor for the alarm. The alarm is very easy. Torch, armed with 1 beep, disarmed with 2 beeps. This one here will turn the warning light on and off. And the last one I suggest you only use if you do read the instructions. It's P for program, and you can alter how the alarm works. You can't inadvertently just do anything just by pressing it. You do have to hold it down for 10 seconds. And then basically the PIR light down here will flash differently, just indicating what mode you've put it in. We have the stereo just here, on and off on this source button just here, and then it basically behaves just like any other car stereo. We have the hob just here, so we have the 3 gas burners. So they are just push in, twist and press the igniter. Automatic gas cut out as soon as the lid goes down. We have the electric hot plate just here, and that is on this one here. Red light comes on to let you know it's in operation. And then the grill, same again, push in, twist and press the igniter. And then the oven. There we go, just like so. Directly beneath it, we have where the hot plate is plugged in. And if we then go into this cupboard here, we have some gas isolation taps. Gas isolation taps are always close to where there's a gas appliance. They are colour coded and then will correspond on the sticker. I always say just leave them in the on position. If you smell gas, just go to the gas bottle and turn it off. Above the fridge we have the digital aerial. To put the mast up, just undo and then just push up and then get it into the position that you require. This little green window here represents the back of the aerial. Make sure that the booster box is on at the back here, and also that the booster is virtually always set to maximum. We can flip the aerial from horizontal to vertical if required, just by turning the tail here. But do make sure that we're back down for travel, and always never over tighten this collar here or it may split. The fridge itself, on and off on this one here. Then we have power source just here. So what we can do is switch between main supply, 12 volt maintain, which we're going to get an error code for at the moment because the engine's not running, gas, but auto is the easiest one to have it on because it will find the best power source it can for you. We then have the Thetford cassette toilet just here. Bowl does swivel all around. To open to the cassette, just slide this lever here and then push to flush. We have in the wardrobe the Aldi header tank for the heating. Just make sure that the fluid is between minimum and maximum. If you do need to top it up, just remove the collar here, undo the cap. Always make sure that you use the correct Aldi top-up solution, but a lot of the time this will only be required on annual servicing. Always take your reading once the heating is up to temperature because it will expand. We then have the basin, and then the shower. Do make sure that the shower screen is back for travel and secured on this part here. In the roof we have the Omni vent fan. To put the roof vent up, just wind. Middle button then turns it on. And then you've got arrows out for extraction. Variable fan speed by pressing. And air in. Do make sure that we are back down for travel.